Am I the a-hole for saying my babysitting rates are $35 an hour? I'm a software engineer with a full-time job and a side hustle of doing freelance coding work in my own time. I've always been the type to have a side hustle I put a lot of my free time into. I get really bored sitting idle. My freelance hourly rates are $60 an hour, and at my full-time job, my hourly pay works out to about $40 an hour. So that's how I value my time. Anyway, over Christmas vacation, I was staying at my parents' house. My cousin was also staying over with her 3 young kids from Christmas to New Year's. I've been planning on doing some work on my freelance projects when I had free time. In the mornings when my family had no plans. I wasn't in any rush. I was already ahead of schedule on them all. But I didn't really have anything else to do. It was in a really rural area, and it's like an hour drive to the nearest anything. Then my cousin and her husband asked if I could babysit all day for 3 days, so they could visit some friends in the area and hang out with just adults. I said I had planned on doing freelance work at the library, and she offered to pay me to babysit. I said I could if they got close to my freelance rates. She wanted a number, and although my freelance rates are $60, I didn't feel like that was right. It was high, but I didn't want to go too low. Honestly, babysitting 3 kids would be harder for me than the routine coding work I had for my freelance project. I don't know a lot about kids, and I've never babysat for long, and I had a feeling it would be stressful and difficult. So I said $35, which is below what I make hourly at work. And what is the bare minimum I'd value my time for, if that time is spent doing difficult work? And she went crazy at me, saying that's a ridiculous rate for babysitting, that I was entitled and being selfish, that I'm trying to take advantage of how she didn't have other options, etc. I said that's way below what I'd be making if I had the time to do my own work, and I'd be putting off my own work to babysit. Her husband then got mad at me, saying that I was a 24-year-old girl, that I'm damn near a child myself, that my time is not worth that much and it's childish to say that it was, and that I was a stupid girl for not knowing that babysitting costs like $15 an hour. When I grew up and have kids of my own, I will see how stupid I was being. I was kind of done with being called stupid, so I just told them I hope they could find someone else. My mom thinks that I asked for something offensive, and my cousin and her husband obviously did too. Am I the a-hole for giving that number? Am I the a-hole for serving fake meat and pretending it was real? My 2 daughters are vegetarian, but my husband and son are not. I'm probably what they would call a flexitarian. My son and husband always turn up their noses at tofu or any other meat alternatives, they say. It's just weird that it's made to resemble real meat. So it's really the concept and not the taste. There are no allergies. My family and I often make 2 versions of dinner. 1 meat, 1 real. And twice the amount of pots and pans. There is an equal distribution of cleaning and cooking in this house, thankfully. My daughters had a fun prank idea of making 2 pots of spaghetti sauce. Under the pretense that one was meat, they were both the soy ground beef. The goal here was to see if their brother and father actually hated the meat, and to see if we could maybe save some dishes and time in the future. Everyone loved dinner. Both husband and son finished their plates. This was when my youngest couldn't hold it in anymore and told them. They both got very upset about being fed something other than what they were told. Am I the a-hole for telling my wife that I would choose my mom over the birth of our baby? So, to get started, I am 36 male and my wife is 33 female. We are expecting our first child soon. My mother, who is 70, was diagnosed with stage 4 cancer and has been hospitalized since it is so bad doctors say she will not survive since treatments aren't working well on her. My dad died when I was young, and my mom took care of me while working 2 jobs so that I could have a good life. I feel I owe everything to my mother. I bought her a house and whatever she needed so that she could live her older years well. Since we had to struggle so much, when I got home from work and visiting my mom, my wife and I were talking, and she asked if you got a call that I was in labor or your mom was going to die. Who would you pick? I told her I would pick my mom. She asked why, and I told her that I wanted to be there to say goodbye to my mom since I would never see her again. And so she would have somebody there in her final moments. She got mad and said what about her and our baby. I told her I would try to be there as fast as I could after my mom, but that most likely wouldn't happen. So I told her not to worry about it. She was still mad and told me to get out of the house. I left, and now I'm at my mom's house. So Reddit AITA? Edit. To everyone saying that I would be leaving her in alone. No. I wouldn't. She would have her mom there. She has said she wanted her mom there with her. Yes, I was right for leaving my house. It was either I leave, or she go. And I was not about to put my pregnant wife out of our house. Yes, I have been there for her. I have taken off work to comfort and help her in any way she needs during this pregnancy. Edit 2. I keep getting the same question about why did I leave my house. Even though I may own the house, it was late, and I didn't want my pregnant wife out late at night. But she told me to leave, so I knew it was either me or her. 2. My mother is in the hospital, she is not at her house. 3. I thought a lot about what a lot of you said about how I should put her first. But she doesn't put me first at all, she chooses her sisters over me all the time. 4. I do not make her feel second. I have put my wife first, especially in emergencies, and I have tried my best to comfort her. I have gone home, and I'm thinking I don't need to apologize to y'all, I really don't know. Thanks to everyone who's commented. Am I the a-hole for suggesting my wife lower her standards so that she'll be less overwhelmed? My wife, 37 female, and I, 38 male, have 3 kids, 12, 10, and 8. She is in a constant state of overwhelm and very easily irritated, constantly complaining how it's all too much. I'm of course happy to help and do my fair share for the kids or household, but it's never enough because her standards are too damn high. She insists one of us has to be up at 6:45 every morning to make sure the kids are ready and make the bus, which comes at 7:45. I told her they're old enough to not need that much help already. They can all dress themselves and pour themselves cereal and milk. There's no reason we have to be up. She says that cereal isn't a good enough breakfast. They need something more substantial, especially the 12-year-old, and that the 10-year-old has had and will definitely struggle without help. In the morning, and anyway, she wants to see them off and kiss them goodbye for the day. So she gets up. I don't. Then she gets upset that I never give her a morning off when all she needs to do is just take the morning off when she wants and let the kids handle themselves. Also, she is super strict about screen time during the week and is exhausted and snappy from arguing about it with the kids, and upset I don't support her strict limit of 2 hours a day. I say as long as homework is done. Why not until bed? She says it's not healthy for them. They need to play outside or with games and toys, read some books, just entertain themselves in more ways than one. I agree they should enjoy other things, but not seeing why we have to make such a rigid limit. She also likes to get out on weekends and do stuff like zoos, museums, etc., but then complains about the planning for the outing and how grouchy the youngest gets by the end of it. And again, I say let's just chill at home, and voila, you've cut the work. I'm an engaged and active parent. I'm not trying to get out of it, but I don't think I should have to help my wife dig herself out of her own self-created holes. She creates the stress for herself and then turns to me to alleviate it, which I think is unfair. Am I the a-hole for telling her she needs to do less and then she won't need this level of help? Am I the a-hole for telling my sister to stop leaving her room when she's wearing her nightgown? My 26, female, sister moved in with me, 29, female, and my husband, 32, male. Days ago, after her divorce was finalized, then lost her job and was no longer being able to pay rent for her apartment. We're mostly in agreement about everything except I've been kind of having an issue with what she wears, especially at nighttime when she unwinds and tend to relax a bit, as she says. I think that what she wears is inappropriate. She usually wears silky nightwear, nightgowns mostly. She says that's just her style and is what she's been wearing for years. Not just that, but she'd come out of her room dressing like that to grab water or use the bathroom. While yes, it was just me who saw her dressed like that, I honestly could not risk having an argument with my husband over it. One suggested she buys some PJs, but she said that she doesn't feel comfortable in them. Last night, I saw her in the kitchen grabbing something from the fridge and was dressed in a purple, strapped, knee-length nightgown. I tried to speak to her about it, but it didn't go well. We started arguing, and I ended up telling her to stop leaving her room when she's wearing stuff like that, and she argued that there was nothing wrong with what she was wearing, that it wasn't like she was walking around naked or anything of the sort. I told her it's my home and she's a guest and should just respect my request. But she responded saying that just because she lives in my house does not mean that I have the right to control what she wears, then stormed off to her room. We haven't talked since then, and she is refusing to talk about it. Edit. I want to post a pic of the nightgown, but don't know how. I'll see what I can do. Edit. Here's the dress. It's not identical, but close to what she was wearing, very close.